Today, the Commission adopts an order that gives monopoly companies facing zero competition the authority to increase the costs for families to maintain critical connections with their loved ones in prison. These families have no option but to pay the higher rates, regardless of whether they have enough to make rent, buy groceries, or pay the electric bill, or whether they are able to work enough hours or need to get a third job. If they want to stay in touch with a loved one in a correctional facility, their cousin, friend, brother, mother, they have no other option but to figure out how to pay the higher rates the Commission imposes on them today.
A 15-minute phone call from a son to his mother. Cost? $25. Not from overseas, not international. From a prison 50 miles away. And someone's making a fortune from it. Welcome to the prison phone call business, where companies charge $1 per minute to talk to your incarcerated loved ones, where a collect call costs more than a luxury hotel's room service, and where the people who can least afford it are paying the most. This isn't about crime. This isn't about punishment. This is about a billion-dollar industry that's turned desperation into profit. And the numbers will make you furious. 15 years ago, a man named John was sentenced to 5 years in prison. His crime doesn't matter for this story. What matters is his family, a wife, 3 kids, and a phone call budget they couldn't afford.
Here's my dad. He's tall and he's funny. He is in jail.
And do you get to visit him a lot?
No.
My son's father is in Hardeman County, CCA. We can't make the commute as often to see his dad because the commute is like almost a 4-hour drive. Phone calls are a problem because they cost too much, and I have other bills.
To talk to their father for 15 minutes cost them $25. 3 times a week, that's $75. Per month, $300. Per year, $3,600 for phone calls from a prison 50 miles from their home. Now multiply that by 2 million incarcerated people in America, most of them maintaining contact with family through phone calls, and you start to see the scale. The prison phone call industry generates over $1.4 billion per year. Not from the prisoners, from their families, their mothers, their children, their spouses, the people on the outside paying $1 per minute to hear a voice they love. But here's the twisted part. Prisons don't run the phones. Private companies do. And those companies pay prisons a commission, a kickback. For every dollar a family spends on a phone call, 20 to 50 cents goes back to the prison or jail as revenue. It's a profit-sharing agreement. The prison gives the company a monopoly. The company charges whatever they want, and they split the profits. Let's talk about the companies. The biggest player used to be Securus Technologies. They had contracts with over 3,400 facilities. Then there's Global Tel Link. They control another massive chunk of the market. Together, these 2 companies dominate the prison phone industry. And their business model is simple: captive audience, zero competition, maximum extraction. How does it work? When someone is arrested and sent to jail or prison, they lose access to personal phones. The only way to communicate with the outside world is through the facility's phone system. And there's only one provider. No alternatives, no competing offers. If you want to talk to your kid, you pay what they charge. And what they charge is astronomical. Here are the real numbers. The average cost of a 15-minute prison phone call in the United States, $5 to $25, depending on the state. In some states, it's worse. Arkansas used to charge $1 per minute. That's $15 for a 15-minute call. New York, before reforms, was charging similar rates. Compare that to your cell phone plan. Unlimited calls for $50 a month. A prisoner's family, $300 a month for a few hours of conversation. And it gets darker. These companies don't just charge per minute. They add fees, connection fees, processing fees, account setup fees. A $25 phone call might actually cost $30 after all the add-ons. And families, desperate to stay connected, pay it. Because what choice do they have? Now here's the part that should make you angry. Prisons benefit financially from these high rates. In some states, county jails make millions of dollars per year from phone commissions. That money funds jail operations. It pays for equipment. Sometimes it even goes into general county budgets, which means local governments have a financial incentive to keep rates high. The higher the rates, the more revenue the jail gets. It's a system where the government profits from families trying to talk to incarcerated loved ones. Let's follow the money. A county jail signs a contract with a phone company. The company agrees to pay the jail 40% of all phone revenue. In return, they get exclusive access, no competition. The company sets rates at $1 per minute. Families spend $1 million per year on calls. The company keeps $600,000. The jail gets $400,000. Everyone wins. Except the families. And these aren't wealthy families. Studies show that most people in jail and prison come from low-income communities. Their families are already struggling. Now add $200 to $400 per month in phone bills just to maintain a relationship. Many families go into debt. Some stop calling altogether. Relationships break down. Kids lose contact with parents. And recidivism rates go up because family connection is one of the strongest factors in successful reentry. The companies know this. They know families will pay almost anything to hear their loved one's voice. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity, and they've turned that necessity into a billion-dollar revenue stream. But here's where it gets even more calculated. The phone systems are designed to maximize revenue. Calls are limited to 15 or 20 minutes, then they cut off. If you want to keep talking, you have to call back and pay another connection fee. The timer is always running. There's no pause button, no flexibility, just the clock, ticking away at $1 per minute. And the quality? Terrible. Dropped calls, static, delays, but there's no customer service, no refunds. The call drops after 10 minutes? Too bad. You still paid for 15. Because where else are you going to go? There's no competition. Now, there has been some reform. In 2021, the FCC capped interstate prison phone rates at 12 cents per minute for prisons and 14 to 16 cents per minute for jails. That's a huge improvement. But here's the catch. Most prison calls are intrastate, meaning within the same state. And those rates? Still unregulated in many places. States set their own rules, and in some states, the rates are still predatory. Some states have done better. Connecticut made all prison phone calls free in 2022. California is moving toward free calls. New York has reduced rates significantly. But in other states, families are still paying $1 per minute. The reforms are happening, but they're slow. And in the meantime, billions are still being extracted. Let's talk about who profits. Securus Technologies was owned by a private equity firm. They bought it as an investment because prison phones are incredibly profitable. High margins, guaranteed customers, no competition. It's a private equity dream. In 2017, another company bought Securus for $1.6 billion. Not because they cared about communication, because it's a cash cow. Global Tellink, the other major player, has similar backing. These aren't small family businesses. These are investment vehicles designed to extract maximum profit from a captive market. And they've succeeded, spectacularly. But there's something even more disturbing. Video calls. As technology improved, companies started offering video visitation. Families could see their loved ones on a screen. Sounds nice, right? But here's the catch. Many facilities that introduced video visitation eliminated in-person visits. They said it was more convenient. But the real reason? Video calls are more profitable. They can charge $10 for a 30-minute video session. Families who used to visit in person for free now have to pay. And the prison gets a cut. Some facilities banned in-person visits entirely, forcing families to use video calls and pay. It's not about safety, it's not about convenience, it's about revenue. So what's the future of this industry? Reform is happening, but it's a battle. Advocacy groups have been fighting for years. Families have protested, lawsuits have been filed, and slowly regulators are paying attention. But the companies fight back. They lobby. They argue that lower rates will hurt their business, which is true because their business is built on exploitation. Here's the bottom line. The prison phone call industry is one of the most morally questionable businesses in America. It takes the most vulnerable people, those with incarcerated loved ones, and charges them exorbitant rates for basic human connection. It turns desperation into profit, and it does so with the full cooperation of the government, which benefits financially from the system. This isn't just a business, it's a machine designed to extract wealth from people who have almost nothing, and it's been running for decades, quietly, in the background, making millions while families go broke just trying to say, "I love you." If this made you angry, good, because it should. Subscribe, because next time we're investigating the bail bond industry, where poor people pay thousands just to wait for trial, while rich people walk free. The hidden money is everywhere, and it's always targeting the people who can least afford it.